So we've looked at and discussed in the introduction the different aspects of Peng. There is a big mistake that most people make when looking to apply Peng, and that is that when we create the structure, we do it in relation to our partner. And in fact, what we should be doing is just doing it in relation to ourselves. So the first thing that we need to think about is how applying Peng is an endeavor in creating it in ourselves rather than applying it to someone. Now, let me explain what I mean there. When we think about contact with another person, we often will form up behind that contact. So Eli's a jiu-jitsu guy. He's not particularly a Tai Chi person, so he's a good person for me to demonstrate this on. So if you just stand still, okay, what happens when I push on Eli like this? When I push on him, he produces a force. If you just stand side on for me, that's it. He produces a force, okay, that is aligning his ability to resist to the point of contact. So he's creating lines of tension in his body to maintain his position in the face of a push. Okay, so when I release, his force goes forwards and he starts to have to rebalance himself. Okay, this is completely natural. This is what most people do. But when we look at Tai Chi, we want to try not to do that. We want to try to have a structure that is able to be pushed or pressed, that is not reliant on forming up behind the point of contact. So if Eli's pushing on my arm here, okay, if I form up behind the point of contact, I can do this, okay? So I can take my arm off, my foot, and now I'm creating a line in my body from my back foot to my front hand. And this is one of the ways that we see a lot of people using Peng. They will have a structure and they will create form a line from the force of the push or the point of contact to the earth. And that line will often be a line from the front point to the back point to create sort of a triangulation in the body that then means that I can resist, okay? Now, there's an inherent problem with this, and it's an inherent problem that many martial arts will deliberately take advantage of. So for instance, if Eli's doing the same thing and he's pushing on my point of contact here, this foot is now super light, yeah, because he's pushing from his back leg to his front leg. So if I deliberately do this and then take his leg away, he's at my mercy, basically. And sometimes in grappling arts especially, you may push someone into their back foot deliberately to make their front foot light, and then you've got them. Now this is true all over the body, and this is not Peng. This is not the ward-off quality, the first quality. Instead, this is like some ground path from point of contact to the floor. And it is, in my opinion, a mistake when we're looking at Peng specifically. So instead, what I want to do is just have my posture, have my Peng quality in my body, this feeling of expanding in all directions. And now, my front foot is not light. I'm not actually lifting my front foot like this and putting a path to the rear. I'm actually keeping everything nice and equal in my body. So if we're in this position, okay, and Eli removes his hands, I'm not really going anywhere. I'm not pushing on him to maintain the posture. And this is the first thing that we must understand about Peng. It is not this, form a line. It is create a quality, okay, an aspect. And that aspect is to expand in all directions internally to create a structure that is able to be pushed on. So if he pushes on it, it's able to be pushed on, but it's not reliant on creating a line like this to form up. Again, if he removes his hands, I'm not actually pushing on him. I'm just receiving, okay? So this is the first quality of Peng that we must sort of get our head around. Create the structure in ourselves, create this expansive opening quality, and then that's what we want to develop for Peng. It is not to form up behind the point of contact to the earth. Okay, so this is the first thing. Now, secondly, it is the direction. Peng is a direction. And again, we can view the direction within the structure. So in exactly the same way,